Good evening, Kenton community. My name is Sabatino Samato. I'm your superintendent, and this is your weekly Connection update. I really encourage you to take a look at the Connection. Of course, there's a section on the update from the superintendent. Then there's a safety tip for families. We go into our school and district highlights. I'll talk about all those different highlights in a second. Then, of course, we finish off with celebrating Black history and our recognition for the week. So let's get going. So first, in my update, there's a few stories. We have a piece on our Environmental Ambassador Summit that was this past week at the Lindy facility. We had both Kenmore West and Big Picture represented there. Pick up and really look at the connection for those stories. Great job by those kids. A great job by their mentors and teachers. Wonderful job, and we really appreciate our partnership with Niagara River Greenway. Then you see advocating on behalf of students, your Board of Education, along with myself. We went to Albany, made the trip to Albany this past Wednesday, really talking to our representatives about some things that our districts and students continue to face, and a wonderful job by all of our representatives listening and being willing to have the conversation with us of how we could continue to better education, especially right here in Kenton. And finally, under my update, you'll see, once again, honoring Phil Agulia. We've been talking about what a tremendous accomplishment to be one of the finalists for a Grammy in our nation. And today we had the privilege of having a proclamation that was presented to Phil Agulia by legislator Kashoian, from actually himself, Legislator Kashoian and Legislator Barnese, that really demonstrate how proud our entire region is of Phil. Great job, and check out that video. It's really a great thing to watch. Our kids performed. Just wait till you hear our band perform in that section. And next, we focus on our safety tip for families. And once again, we're focusing on transportation and really some tips. Folks, some things that we don't think about when it comes to transportation. I know we highlighted this before, but this section really talks about the safety of transportation before you're even getting on the bus or after you get off the bus. A simple tip like parents, I know that we try and keep our kiddos warm. We keep them in the car until the bus shows up, and that could actually cause a safety risk. So really read that section. Understand some things that we would have never even thought of, but there's some tips in there to make sure that kiddos are safe, the bus can see the students, and we're doing our best to avoid any accidents when it comes to our transportation. Our next section, we go to school and district highlights, and you'll see several stories in there this week. The first one, Kenton to host high school and beyond transition vendor fair. The next, Kenmore West students compete at Western New York Science Olympiad. Then we move on to a story about how Kenmore East hosts Section 6 Rifle Championship. Another story from Holmes Elementary students explore ocean life. Then we have Kenmore East and Kenmore West French language students tour Quebec City. Then we go on to Hoover Elementary students enjoy new blender bike. How about Franklin? Franklin Middle Art students develop skills through blind drawing. Kenmore East Wilderness Club visits Burncliffe Resort in Varysburg. And finally, we round off with Hoover Elementary class takes part in National Valentine Exchange. Really take a look at those stories. Just a touch of what is going on in our district and has been going on just in the past week. So great job by all of our schools. And then our next section, of course, celebrating Black history. This is a wonderful piece this week, really focusing on the African American Cultural Center at 350 Maston Avenue in Buffalo. But this is the key, the little Kenton twist to the African American Culture Center, as explained in historian Robert Silsby's book, Settlement to Suburbs. Louis Trammell, an early leader of the African American Culture Center, played an important part in Kenton's local history. In 1969, Mr. Trammell opened United Rent All on Elmwood Avenue, which was the very first African American owned business in Kenmore. So really take a look at that section. Learn about our history, learn about the great traditions that we have throughout Kenton and throughout our entire region. And finally, we finish off with our recognition. And this week, we celebrate our girls hockey and our bowling team. So girls hockey Tonight, they're actually moving on to compete in the New York State semifinal at 8 p.m. in Utica against Section 3 Representative Clinton. I can't wait to see that game tonight. It's going to be a tremendous game. Really proud of the girls and Coach Jeff Orlowski and all of our adults and students that are involved in that hockey program. And then next, the girls bowling team that won the Section 6 Class A title at the area tournament held on Wednesday, led by Coach Howard, and just a tremendous job that those kiddos do. All the adults that help out, assistant coaches on our bowling team. We're so proud of all of you. And that brings us to the end of the connection. And folks, I know that it will really make everyone terribly angry, but we won't have a connection next week. We are off next week. Just a reminder that students are home next week. We celebrate President's Day on Monday, and then we are in our midwinter break. It is a very good time to, once again, I want to reiterate the point that I made last week. Let's start talking about the end of the year. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but I want us to, as adults, really have those conversations with kiddos about how important it is that we come back from this break and really kick it into another gear. That's what makes us Kenton strong. Together we are Kenton proud, and absolutely all of our kiddos will help us move Kenton forward. Have a wonderful, safe weekend and safe break.